In this video, we will prove the existence of GCDs of two polynomials in fx. So, statement goes like this. This is lemma 3.9.4. Given two polynomials f of x and g of x in fx, they have a GCD which can be greatest common divisor, which can be realized as d of x is equal to lambda of x f of x plus mu of x into g of x for some polynomial lambda of x mu of x in fx. Now, in the proof, first we shall take capital S to be the collection of such elements. S of x, f of x plus t of x, g of x, where s of x and t of x are in fx. Then, as fx is a ring with unit element, we can we can take s of x as 1 and t of x as 0, so that f of x will belong to capital S. See, f of x and g of x are given to us, right? So they are present. Where are they? They are in capital Fx. Now in Fx, you are considering such a collection, and first you have to say that it is non-empty. That we say that f of x is a member of that S, and in the same way g of x is also a member of that, so that your S will be non-empty. Then now we shall consider two members, say h1 of x and h2 of x in S, and so that you can write your h1 of x as say s1 of x f of x plus t1 of x g of x. See, here s and t only can vary. You cannot vary your f of x and g of x. They are fixed. So h1 of x is written in this way, h2 of x is written in this way, where s1, s2, t1 of x, t2 of x, they are all in fx. Now what we are going to do? We are going to subtract h1 of x minus h2 of x. So this minus this, and in that f of x is taken out, and here g of x is taken out. So these two are again polynomials in fx. We shall take that this difference as say some s of x and this one as t of x, so that we have the whole lot to be s of x f of x plus t of x g of x. Now whenever you have any polynomial of this kind, by the definition of S, this must be there in S, but that is nothing but your h1 of x minus h2 of x, so that must be there in capital S. Now why we prove this is, we want to establish that our S is an ideal. So for that only, first we are saying that it is non-empty, and under addition closure should be true, along with the inverse with regard to addition, and then we have for every r in r, u in u, both ru and u are to be in capital U. So for that condition, we are considering this case. You take for every r in r, here capital R is fx and small r is p of x. So p of x in fx, and you have to consider an element u in u, so you have h of x in S. Then you consider p of x into h of x, which is p of x into h of x being a member of S, you can write like this, and multiplying this with this is what you get. You can take this p of x, s of x as say some other s prime of x, and this one as say some t prime of x, so that it is in the required format for it to be in S. So you have p of x into h of x in capital S. So from 1 and 2, S is an ideal. So we know already that U in a ring R is ideal if we have U to be a subgroup under addition, subgroup of R. So that means if you consider two elements in U, the difference should be there in U. And then the second condition is for every R in R, U in U, both RU and UR should be in capital U. Here it is enough we consider one of them because we know that Fx is a commutative ring. It's a commutative ring. So instead of checking both, it is enough you check only one. So because the two conditions for S to be an ideal being true, we have S to be an ideal. But we know that S is Fx is a principal ideal ring, which means any ideal when we consider, it is a principal ideal. So because Fx is a Euclidean ring, it is a principal ideal ring. This is actually principal ideal ring. We know already that every Euclidean ring is a principal ideal ring, but here when we want to write, we shall have it as PIR. Because Fx is a PIR, S must be a principal ideal, which means S must be generated by some polynomial. We shall take that polynomial to be, say, d of x, for some d of x in S. Now this implies that d of x can be written as, say, some lambda of x f of x plus mu of x into g of x for some polynomial lambda of x mu of x in fx. Now we want to show that this is a GCD. Now since f of x and g of x are in S, f of x being generated by d of x, this S, we can write f of x. F of x is in S, that is generated by d of x, so you can write like this. And this in turn gives that d of x divides f of x. Because we know the definition, whenever A in a ring R, in a ring R, A divides B means, what is the definition? B is written as R into A. This R is a member of capital R. So here you have, this is definition, so it holds in both ways. So we have our this one implying d of x dividing f of x, and similarly g of x belongs to S, which is generated by d of x, so g of x is b of x into d of x. The same definition, and this in turn gives being definition, it holds in both ways. That is, whenever this is true, and whenever this is true, this is true. So d of x divides g of x. Now why we need to establish that is, our aim is to show that this is a GCD. So GCD means, I say that D is GCD of A and B if D divides A, D divides B, and whenever C divides A, C divides B, C must divide D. So this is the definition of GCD. So for that purpose only this part is done, and now that we will consider C of x, the second one. For that we will consider C of x dividing f of x and C of x dividing g of x. Now this automatically implies that C of x divides, that is because in a ring R all this you have done on UG itself. Whenever C divides A, C divides B, C divides some XA plus or say some LA plus MB, where L, M are all in capital R. So using that only we have this. So it should C of x dividing lambda of x f of x plus mu of x g of x. But this is nothing but our d of x. So C of x divides d of x. So these two conditions being true, we conclude that d of x is a GCD of f of x and g of x. So the notation, we use this notation for GCD. Now why this is a GCD is we would have had explanation in section 3.7 in UG itself, Euclidean rings. So because two elements in a Euclidean ring, they can have more than one GCD. So that is why it is a GCD, not the GCD. So next is this definition. When do we say that two polynomials are relatively prime? When the GCD is 1, we call f of x and g of x to be relatively prime. So by the previous one, that is the above lemma, whenever we have this to be true, we can always write this as, say, some s of x into f of x plus t of x into g of x equals 1. because later we need this. Suppose f of x and g of x are relatively prime, then so we'll be writing this. So that comes because of this lemma. So in the next video, we will have the proof of unique factorization theorem. Thank you.